Tuesday for Wake Forest. How good was Tyree Appleby? 35 points, 11 assists, and he set an ACC record with his 23 made free throws.
He did. Broke a Dickie Hammer's record, another Wake Forest great. Record has stood since 1955.
He was living at the stripe down the stretch in a big win for Wake, which wins the tap, and away we go from the Joel here in Winston-Salem to start out this doubleheader that will continue in Coral Gables with Louisville at number 19 Miami. But first, it's the Jackets and the Deeks. Wake in the white has it with Damari Monsanto, the sharpshooter from long range. He throws a lob, too tall for Cam Hildreth, and a turnover to start. We check out the Georgia Tech starters. And Randolph, they've gone to this small ball lineup over the last few games. And you mentioned Lance Terry. You think he and Javon Franklin have been the keys?
I think they've been playing really good basketball. Since Lance Terry's return, he had missed 4 games with a hammy. Since his return, he's averaging 15 points a game. He's helped freed up his other teammates now. This team is really doing a really good job of sharing the basketball. Now they got 4 guys on the floor at all times, capable of scoring double figures.
After the hamstring injury, Terry's been back. He's been big, and it was a great win right at the horn, like we showed you, against Notre Dame Wednesday to snap that skid. Tech comes in 2-12 in the ACC, second to last in the conference, but they've been playing better basketball recently.
Well, it's always interesting to see how teams come out and they play against this Princeton-style offense there. And we've covered them in the past. Teams that went to denying, and now Wake's choosing not to do so.
Kyle Sturdivant gets the 3 to go. Wake Forest with a small ball lineup of its own. Andrew Carr starts at the 5. So that means Davian Williamson returns to the starting lineup for Steve Forbes. And Hildreth off the turnover, pushes in transition for Wake. And a chance at a 3-point play.
Cam Hildreth's been getting it done on the defensive end. He's one of the ACC leading steals. He just adds to his total right here, getting his hands up, getting the deflection, and coming away with it. Taking things in his own hand with the and one there on Sturdivant.
Guy who has really taken a jump forward. Third leading scorer, sophomore from England. And one of the guys who will be in the mix for most improved player in the ACC, you would think.
He should be. I mean, he's taking a sophomore jump. I like to take. That's the biggest jump you see most times. And freshman year, only 4 points and jumped up to 12 this year. And been a really good player for the Deeks this year.
You mentioned the Princeton-style offense for Georgia Tech. How do you expect Wake to counter defensively?
Well, Wake is just trying to, they're adjusting. They're sagging off Javon Franklin. They're giving him the shot.
Davian Williamson out of the corner.
Everyone kind of guards the Princeton action a little differently. Wake is choosing to let Javon Franklin catch it, and then they're just backing off, trying to clog up the lane a little bit, keeping everything in front. Deeks wants to keep everything in front, stay between their man and the basket, just contest jump shot. This is not a great shooting Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket team.
Miles Kelly, no dice for deep. Yeah, Steve Forbes to us this morning, he said stay underneath. You don't want to be out denying everything in the Princeton-style offense.
Don't want to give up back doors. Want to keep everything in front and contest. This game will be about pace today, too. Deeks they're the #1 offensive team in the ACC. They want to push this in the 80s. Georgia Tech wants to control it a little bit.
Carr brought it down off the lob, and he gets the roll.
Great find there on the baseline out of bounds. Just not seeing the man and ball and just throw it up and steal your 2 easy points on the baseline out of bounds.
4-point margin early on the first 2.5 minutes for Wake here at home at 8-6 overall in league action. Kyle Sturdivant has scored in double figures in 3 straight, but he missed that one. Loose ball to Hildreth, and here come the Deeks on a 7-0 run. Corner 3. Williamson, no dice this time.
Both teams doing a lot of switching. So let's see if they're just trying to attack matchups. Georgia Tech will go more into their Princeton-style offense when things break down. The Deeks will go more on the ball screens.
Shot clock at 10 for Debo Coleman. He backs it out. And now Miles Kelly with 5 to shoot. He pulls up from long range, kept alive by Franklin, but right to Monsanto. And speaking of ball screens, we saw a lot of them from Wake Forest against Carolina, highlighted by Tyree Appleby. Picked off by Lance Terry. The Jackets run. Debo Coleman saved it, and no, he did. And he was out of bounds along the sideline. Well, Steve Forbes got a big win in that victory over North Carolina. His group now tied for 7th, entering the day with Syracuse in the ACC, but only 2.5 back from the top of the group. And now back-to-back wins at Notre Dame against Carolina. And according to Joe Lunardi, he's got them as his next 4 out. So effectively his 7th team out of the field at the start of the day.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done for the Deacs. I think obviously they got to take care of home court tonight. They got a big week next week, being on the road at Miami and then at NC State. I think they have to get one of those wins, and they're going to have to avoid any difficult losses from any of the lower placed teams in the ACC if they want to get into the dance.
Hildreth scores. Check out the full look at bracketology according to Joe Lunardi. A lot of movement today. North Carolina Clemson was a big game earlier today, and the Heels got a huge bounce-back win in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it's amazing. Clemson started today, was in first place, and right now considered maybe a team on the bubble or not in the tournament. It's just unbelievable when you watch the rankings.
Yeah, it's amazing. Rodney Howard in off the bench. He missed it. Monsanto secures it, and Georgia Tech is 1 of 7 from the floor with a couple of turnovers. Appleby's pass is picked off.
I think Georgia Tech will get to their zone soon here.
Kelly rounding out, offensive rebound. Howard in the putback.
Howard and Jerron Franklin are both just too big. They complement each other well. Really good offensive rebounders. Here on cue, Georgia Tech's back. Back in their zone.
Yeah, like a guy who studied a lot of Georgia Tech tape through the years in your time as the coach for Wake Forest. You just know when Josh Pastner's going to dial it up.
Yeah.
And Wake tries to solve it. Shot clock winding down on Davian Williamson, who gets fouled by Kyle Sturdivant. 5 minutes in, Wake by 4 at home on this Saturday in the ACC. As your AC basketball is presented by Subway. Subway's upping their game with the All-Star Subway Series menu. Just order by name or number. 30 points, 10 assists. Before Tyree Appleby did that against Carolina on Tuesday, you were the last guy to do it for Wake Forest in '94, also against Carolina.
We can't get my picture in like high definition or something, man? Like,
do those exist?
Are you kidding me? No, he had a great performance and outstanding. I don't want to talk about my game. He actually won his game. We lost that game. So.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that.
Well, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, Wake Forest did win that game in large part due to Tyree Appleby. 35 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, only 1 turnover. And we told you, 23 made free throws. Steve Forbes actually joked with him, hey, you missed 5 at the line. If you had made those 5, you would have had 40.
That's a lot of free throws. Most guys don't do that in a 5-game stretch. He got 28 free throw attempts in 1 game.
It was crazy. Last 2 minutes alone, he was 15 for 16 at the free throw line. And we joked with Steve Forbes earlier today.
Yeah.
And really, in all seriousness, as impressive as any part of that was, that Wake Forest kept getting him the ball inbounds despite North Carolina's best efforts.
I don't know if there was any effort to deny him the basketball at that moment, but they responded today. Credit to those guys. But hey, if you got to get the balls in Tyree Appleby's hand just to close games, and he took Wake home, and that's what he does for this team. When they get it close, they know they can put it in his hands, and they're going to win or lose with him making the decision late in games.
You asked him earlier today, what's he got bumping in the pregame tunes? He said future.
It's always future. He said he's going to be light, nice and relaxed and under control today, so he said he's going to hit a little future going. So that's the theme of the day. His music theme always dictates his play.
It's been working out pretty well for Tyree Appleby in his one and only season here in Winston-Salem. 6-point game. Deivon Smith is into the game off the bench. 5 in gold for Georgia Tech as Debo Coleman misfires.
Wake's doing a great job keeping everything in front. Georgia Tech's settling for jump shots.
Josh Pastner was pleased to get that win. He said after the game, goodness gracious, we needed that badly.
Yeah, you need any win, but when you've lost 9 in a row, you just know the dam has to break eventually. And credit to those guys. Since Lance Terry returned, this team has been playing a lot better. They've been scoring a lot better. It's not showing so far in the first 6 minutes of this game, but they've been a much better offensive team.
Monsanto can't get it to go from the corner. And it belongs, let's see, stays at this end of the floor with Wake Forest.
I think it's the right call. And again, against this Georgia Tech 1-3-1 zone, the corners of that zone is where they're most vulnerable. So you're going to see Wake put their best shooters in the corners, try to hit gaps and kick it to those guys.
And Monsanto, of course, one of the very best in the country, 41%, and he has made 79 threes. And Appleby out of the right corner.
On cue, a corner three. What do you know? It's a great job by Wake Forest, just moving the basketball, finding the open guy. That's where Georgia Tech is vulnerable. They're going to move it quickly, put their best players in those corners, and knock down shots like it just did there.
And Wake Forest is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the ACC. Sturdivant a misfire. Monsanto clears it. See the note, 37% this season from three for Wake. Hildreth off a ball fake. Josh Pastner needs a timeout. Cam Hildreth with a fake to that corner, and it opens up him streaking to the cup.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
Next Saturday, and here's our ACC and men's basketball double dip. Pitt, Virginia Tech, and Blacksburg, 5 Eastern. And then at the Yum Center, Clemson visits. Clemson trying to get back on track after a few losses here over the last few weeks. And here in Winston-Salem, Wake Forest off to a great start, just like they had Tuesday against North Carolina. The lead is 11 here these first 7 minutes on Georgia Tech. Smith misses on a long two.
Wake's doing a really good job of running their offense, getting the shots that they want. They're getting the open threes. Another offensive rebound there. They're getting the right shots that they want. I think Georgia Tech's is settling on the other end.
Deivon Bradford is tagged for foul, pushing off, battling for a rebound. So you think Georgia Tech's settling offensively for too many long jump shots?
They're playing outside in. One thing about Wake leads the ACC in three-point shooting, but they attack you in the paint. And that's how they get those three-point shots. Right now, Georgia Tech's playing from the three-point line in. Wake's doing a really good job. The defensive game plan, you can tell, is to stay between him and the ball, keep everything on the perimeter, and force this team to make jump shots.
Like this, Deivon Smith probing and then kicking, and it sets up that kind of look for Jalen Moore.
Again, that's what you want. Get in the paint, force help, force rotation, kick it to a shooter. Even guys who aren't considered great three-point shooters, when you get looks like that, they tend to go in.
A lot of the Georgia Tech players, since that win Wednesday over Notre Dame, they talked about better ball movement, better flow for them offensively. You saw it there. Bradford puts the ball in a bear hug. And we get a whistle with 12:09 to go here in this first half. Call it a turnover on Wake. It's already their 4th here in this first half.
I don't think that was Bradford's fault. He caught the ball on a run. It's up to the passer, the guard, to be his eyes. Couldn't see what was in front of him as he rolled into the rim there.
Smith off a ball screen. Deivon Smith has played great the last month or so for Georgia Tech. He finds Javon Franklin attacking Carr on an offensive rebound. And Franklin will go to the line for a couple when we come back to Winston-Salem with Wake in front by 8.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is
8 minutes of play so far. It's Cam Hildreth 8 and Georgia Tech 8 in the early going in this first half in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, Cam's putting so much pressure on the rim, as we talked about again. He's not a great three-point shooter. He'll take open looks, but right now he's an efficient 3 for 3 from the floor, and hard to top that when you're getting right at the rim. So he's just one of many offensive weapons that this deep team has.
He's drawn a lot of attention this year in his sophomore season for how, as a guard, he plays so much in the post. And we were chatting with him before his game on Tuesday, and he said, really, before I got here to playing in the United States, playing at Wake Forest, that was never his MO as a player offensively.
You should have seen his tape. You know, I was there on staff when recruiting him, and he was shooting jumpers. He was just a scorer, a natural scorer. But when he got here, he just has the ability to play bigger than his size. He plays like he's 6'8". And I've watched him post up guys that are 6'8", 6'9" in this league and score on him. So he's just he's an unusual weapon for a guard, and he's just really, really efficient. And he's taking a major leap as a sophomore in this league.
From Worthing, England, he is tough. Javon Franklin, by the way, made both his free throws The margin is 6 midway through the first half. Here's Hildreth. Oh, what a pretty fake, and it rolled off. Deivon Smith thought about it. He's got Hildreth on him, and a carry is called on Deivon Smith.
What a move there by Hildreth. He just gets to his spots and he plays off 2 feet. And he's so physically strong. And tough miss there and just come down by Deivon Smith. That's just a careless turnover there. Georgia Tech, as you can tell, intentional about pushing the basketball, trying to score in transition. They want to try to beat the Wake defense down before it gets set.
Even though, as you said earlier, Josh Pastner said to us today, they don't want to get into a track meet against Wake Forest.
They don't, but they have to score in transition like this when the opportunity presents itself.
Moore. It's a blocking foul, and Jalen Moore will shoot a couple.
On quick shots and long rebounds like that, they can get out and get numbers. They'll take advantage of it. Just like that. I think he'll just lean in a little bit back. It's a good call. Kind of jumps into him a little bit. Say, hey, I had my hands up.
Gets tagged for his first, so Moore to the line, sophomore from Alabama.
Yeah, you talked about scoring in transition. You said to Josh Pastner today that you think Georgia Tech's transition offense has gotten better the last couple of weeks.
Well, with Lance Terry coming back, he understands who he is, and he's a really good shooter. So he runs to the corner, and he's spreading out your defense. So now with the small ball lineup now, they're much more efficient in the half court. I mean, in fact, overall, but in half court, it allows them multiple handlers, multiple guys making shots, attacking you in different ways. And then multiple handlers in transition. So they're just doing a lot of different things for a team that struggles shooting the basketball.
They've been down 11. They're on a 7-0 run, you saw.
Now Wake's the team is kind of keeping the ball on the perimeter. It's not touching the paint. And you settle. That's a settle shot there.
Offensive rebound, though, Carr. Williamson. Back out, Monsanto. Not going to miss again.
Totally different shots. One never touched the paint. Took the three that time. Davian Wilson get to the paint, forces rotation, he knocks it down. Basketball game's pretty simple, man, when you do it right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
As a shooter, that's a nice way to get the three. Wide open, kick out.
Well, Monsanto, he doesn't care how he gets it as long as he gets it. So the first one or the second one, pays him no mind. He's a heck of a shooter.
Missed his first 4, connected on his first, and then Deivon Smith counters with 2, and the Wake lead is 5. Monsanto's feeling it. Wanted another. Remember, he hit 8 last Saturday in South Bend, Indiana against Notre Dame.
You want your shooters to take shots, but the difference is the one that he just took before that he made came within the flow of the offense. Someone else created it. That one was just I made my last one. I'm gonna pull up and take the next one.
Smith in the mid-range.
They'll give them those shots all game long. It's just a matter of whether Georgia Tech wants to take them. They're gonna play in their drop coverage on ball screens and sit in the paint. Try to keep everything in front of him.
Right, Deivon Smith not known for his jump shot, but he has come on recently against Notre Dame Wednesday. 8 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and he was the first individual that Josh Pastner singled out post-game after that big win. He said that his energy and positivity throughout the week was huge. Moore with a block of Carr. Smith bounces for Moore. Rolled up, and Franklin follows. And a timeout, Wake Forest.
Great defensive effort there, just running the floor transition again. This Georgia Tech team is going to look to push the ball in transition. They're not going away, ladies and gentlemen. We have a game in Winston-Salem. Deeks up 1.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
After the win on Wednesday against Notre Dame, Lance Terry said, I think these last 3 games have been our best in terms of effort. And Javon Franklin said that win is a confidence booster for Georgia Tech coming down the stretch, and you've seen it carry over today.
Well, I mentioned to you in shoot-around today, you can tell by the energy and the chatter of the group, there was a lot of pop to them. I think this team knows that they're better than they've been. They feel comfortable, and I think they're going to enjoy playing the role of spoiler. And I think there's a belief that they feel as though they can get to Greensboro and make something happen.
That's how Josh Pastner has broken it down when he sized up the schedule, the final 8 games of the regular season. Up top, it's Marsh from Appleby.
Marsh is doing what he does. Just plays physical basketball and dunks.
How many times have we seen that and said that this season?
Big guy showing some bounce.
Deivon Smith around the ball screen, shadowed by Williamson, and again in the mid-range. This time can't connect.
Yeah, they're going to give him that shot. I think he can take it a little early if he wants. They're going to give him that 15-footer all game.
Williamson gives it up for Appleby. Only one bucket so far for Tyree Appleby off the 35 points on Tuesday. Monsanto pulls up. And the rebound secured by Franklin. Kelly hoists and hits.
This is a different Georgia Tech team. You know, throw the record away. This team is playing much faster. They're more capable of scoring in transition. And as you see now, when certain guys get an open look from three like that, they're going to take it.
Card no, run down by Kelly, and the confidence swells for Georgia Tech. Jalen Moore, a shot fake, attacks and finishes through the contact.
Great shot fake, get into the paint, finish there.
Jalen Moore's got 7 off the bench. Last 2 games had only played 14 minutes total and hadn't scored. And it's coming back with Georgia Tech. First foul on Appleby.
Shot fake here in the corner, just puts it down, gets up. Hang time, baby. Got himself a ball game. Georgia Tech up 2.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
We told you coming in, Joey Brackett says Wake Forest is next 4 out at the start of the day. So effectively 7th team out. And this is a quad 4 game. And as you said, this is a very different Georgia Tech team and not what you would expect for something that qualifies numerically as quad 4.
No, they're a much better team. Now, when you get into conference play now, I mean, Georgia Tech team is healthy now. But when you get into conference play, it's just so difficult. You don't expect when you play in the ACC to be in February playing quad 4 games. And it's just the way things are, the landscape of everything right now. And if you're Wake Forest and you have postseason plans as you do, you just got to find a way to win this game.
If you're flipping around and just landed on this game, at one point Wake Forest led by 11.
They did.
Georgia Tech's on an 18-5 run. They've got 13 points from bench players, 10 from starters. Kristen Maxwell pushes off. And meanwhile, Wake Forest, 2 of its last 11 shooting, and they've had some turnover issues.
Yeah, I think Wake's got a little jump shot happy as well, in which Coach Forbes gets a little upset with his group when they do that. So we expect them to call some plays now and get a little bit of execution from the group. And I think you'll see the ball keep it in Appleby's hand, maybe some ball screens or Marsh doing what he does, jumping and dunking.
Had 10 points, 4 rebounds in 13 minutes against Carolina. 5 of 5 shooting. It was his first time in double figures since before Christmas. And boy, did he and Davion Bradford give Wake Forest a lift. And they knew that those 2 guys would be important against Armando Bacot and company. Marsh got a piece of it, but Kelly sticks with it, and he's got a chance at 3.
That's just one of those 50-50 balls that Georgia Tech won that battle, 50-50 ball grabbing. Appleby just sees it, as the ACC leader does, has been doing it all year long, finding guys, making teammates better, and here, just coming up with the loose ball there. Miles Kelly, known as a 3-point shooter, but he's starting to mix things up.
Yeah, he's got 6 now as he stamps a 3-point play, coming off a season-low 4 points against Notre Dame. Only played 22 minutes on Wednesday.
Well, they're switching screens with Appleby.
Marsh again.
Great job. Just identifying the switch. Marsh just
Push the guard up the lane, and they throw it over the top. No weak side defense there by Georgia Tech, and he just slams it home. It's a great job, great find.
Georgia Tech by 1. Franklin from the elbow. He's done a better job initiating offense from there. Moore nearly ran it down, but it belongs to Wake Forest.
He's a little hesitant to take that elbow jump shot. I mean, he has that in his repertoire. He's capable of making that shot, but he just keeps trying to get closer, and Marsh is giving him distance. going right into him. And when you do that, the official's not going to give you the call.
Coming up on 5 to go in this first half. Bobby Klintman, the talented freshman from Sweden, way too strong. And now Deivon Smith leads Georgia Tech back. Tristan Maxwell can score it off the bench. Good drop off for Franklin. And now more resets to Smith.
Tristan Maxwell is home for him. He lives right there in Charlotte.
11 in gold. Watches Kelly navigate. Franklin on the offensive glass. Kept it in on the baseline. And then got caught in the air. Appleby can't haul it in.
Just trying to get an easy one there, and had numbers rushed it a little bit and just overthrew Appleby. He'd like to have that one back. I think he could have had a dribble up three, maybe one of the easier shots he'll get. And trying to play unselfish basketball and just an unforced turnover there.
6th turnover for Wake, which only turned it over 5 times in the win over North Carolina. Deivon Smith, he's got 7, 26% from 3, but you can see it. He is feeling good.
Both teams are doing a really good job. Their game plan is to keep everything in front, and when you do that, you're susceptible to make, to three-point shooting and shots. And right now, both teams are comfortable because there's no pressure on the basketball. They're taking open looks like that.
Pretty ball movement.
You can tell in that matchup zone, they're going to put 5 guys on the perimeter, spread it out, put their best shooters, as I said, in the corners. They know where to attack this zone. Another good look there.
This crowd comes to life, trying to will Wake to a stop. Smith leads to an offensive rebound. Kelly connects.
Both teams, it's like a horse game right now. Anything you can do, I can do.
9 for Miles Kelly.
Wake's going under those screens so that, it's a confident group, and they're playing with nothing to lose. So those shots, they're going to take them now.
Josh Pastner ready to get into a defensive stance himself. Appleby gave it back for Klintman. Got back tapped by Deivon Smith, and it stays with Wake Forest despite the gesticulations of Josh Pastner here in this first half.
Got a 3-point contest going on here in Winston-Salem. Georgia Tech is coming to play. Miles Kelly with a knockdown jumper here. Tech up 4.
ESPN app. It's a triple header of women's hoops. BC and number 14 North Carolina at noon, followed by 11th ranked Virginia Tech hosting number 19 Florida State, and then Syracuse and number 10 Notre Dame caps off the day. On the men's side, here in the ACC, some games that have already gone final. We told you about Carolina's big win over Clemson to bounce back. Carolina won that game by 20. And then in Tallahassee, how about Pittsburgh? They are 11-3 now in the ACC. They're 18-7 overall, and Jeff Capel might be the front runner for ACC Coach of the Year.
He may be. I mean, it was three-horse race there at one point in time, and ready for this hot take? I think Pittsburgh will get one of the double byes. I think they have a favorable schedule, and I think they're a really good team and a well-coached team.
I don't know how hot that is either. I mean, they're playing some great basketball. They started the day in that 3-way tie atop the conference at 10-3.
A lot of careless turnovers and individual playing here by Wake.
Deivon Smith went diving on top of the pile, and he gets saddled with a foul as Cam Hildreth was at mid-court after nearly another Wake turnover.
I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, look at this. He just comes over there from the top rope. Boom.
Well, you know what?
That's a fumble drill. That's a football. He's playing the wrong sport. He's a football player.
His argument might be that I didn't touch him. He went for a drive-by swipe on the ball.
He did. He stopped, dropped, and rolled on that one.
Appleby, no, but Marsh follows. And Matt Marsh has 8 on, you guessed it, 4 dunks.
There's just no answer for him size-wise. Franklin just doesn't have the girth to hold him out. Rodney Howard's the only one coming in with enough physicality to keep him off the rim. Let's see how many more touches he can get.
Howard's only played 2 minutes in this first half. Smith kicks it out for Jalen Moore, who's had A very nice half off the bench. 7 points, 3 assists for the talented sophomore forward. Marsh the rebound. Appleby pushes, and Maxwell swiped him. Tristan Maxwell, and blocked by Hildreth. Maxwell follows. Oh, Tristan Maxwell tried to detonate here in the Joel.
It's a homecoming for him. He has a lot of family in the stands. As I said, this young man's from Charlotte, and he tried to come home and make a poster.
If you know anything about Tristan Maxwell, folks, he is not going up for a lay-in finger roll.
No. And he was going to let you know about it had he made it. He got that from his dad. He's a trash talker. He's got that, honestly. He can't help himself. He's got that from his dad.
It's a great block, though. He just goes up and woo! It's a better rim. Great block.
Good baseline out of bounds, drawn up to Bobby Klintman. And Georgia Tech's 6-point lead is down to 4.
That's the 4th point Wake scored off a baseline out of bounds there. Let's see if Georgia Tech continues to be in man-to-man. That's something to monitor. Kind of stealing points in the baseline out of bounds plays.
Miles Kelly is slow to get up, so the officials stop play. A.J. Desai blew it dead, and Kelly comes up hobbling and will check out of this game just shy of halftime.
Let's hope he's all right.
Leading scorer for the season for Georgia Tech, and he's got 9 for the Jackets in this first half. He got tangled right near the free throw line.
He's grabbing his left ankle.
Smith navigating. Up top, Franklin.
Hello. Get to a spot and find there.
And Deivon Smith continues to play good basketball. Carr from Appleby.
You have to force Appleby to use the screen. He rejects the ball screen, forces rotation when the big comes over. That's why he's leading the ACC in assists. He's going to reward his big man every time. And to defending that, you got to force him into the screen.
Smith's floater doesn't go. Yeah, Appleby 6 assists. That's right at his average. You said it earlier. Leads the conference in assists. And now Wake can hold for the final shot. Down by 4 headed to halftime.
Georgia Tech changes the defense now. They're in their zone. Look for the ball to whip around the perimeter and try to find one of these corner threes.
Monsanto's off the floor right now. Williamson back out for Appleby. Williamson off the shot fake. No. And that's how the first half comes to an end.
Game of runs right now. We've got ourselves a heck of a game. Wake Forest jumped out at 11, and Georgia Tech closed the show.
Georgia Tech leads by 4 in the start of our doubleheader on a busy day across the ACC. Let's go to the studio. Kelsey Riggs running the point.
Continue to play.
Yeah, Kelly
is in. No, he is
out
in
there.
Okay, they just changed the lineup. Sorry.
But it is still worth monitoring. And he came out at halftime out of the locker room and did test it out here on the floor pregame. We'll show you what happened to him. It appeared to just roll his left ankle. But good to see for Georgia Tech fans that Miles Kelly is out on the floor. Wake goes to work with Cam Hildreth getting blocked by Jalen Moore, who also starts out at halftime. Tristan Maxwell wanted a transition 3. Weak side offensive rebound, Javon Franklin. And a good start to this half for the Jackets.
The Jackets are going to look to score in transition quickly. They don't get it. Now look for get into their Princeton offense here.
Shot clock winding down on Deivon Smith, who gives it up to Miles Kelly, who lost the handle. Stays with Georgia Tech. All right, watch Miles Kelly, 13 and goal. Watch his left foot here.
Wow. Just an awkward stand and step on anyone's foot. Just bent it off.
Franklin did not get it off. He had 1 second to shoot on the baseline out of bounds, and Josh Pastner is frustrated.
Yeah, he's telling his guys, I had no idea how much time was left on the shot clock there.
Wake Forest, meanwhile, they had 8 turnovers in the first half. Only got 3 points from Tyree Appleby. Did have 6 assists. Gets into the mid-range. Back iron. Appleby is 1 of 5 from the floor.
The three-point line is such a big part of Wake Forest attack right now, and they're only 4 of 16 from behind the line, and you're thinking as much zone as Georgia Tech plays, they shoot a better percentage right now, and that's going to be critical if they want to get back command of this game.
Maxwell lost it. Williamson off the hesitation. Kicks it back out. Appleby. There's the three.
Nothing like a paint touch and an open three again. Deivon Williamson creating for his teammates. Roles of reverse. Sometimes when you're a scorer, you need other guys to help create easier basket for you. And Deivon Williamson has just been the Mr. Do-It-All for Wake. He doesn't get as much credit as I think he deserves. He's as tough as they come. Excellent three-point shooter. And a creator when he needs to be.
He has accepted a new role this year for Steve Forbes. More slashing. Franklin, another offensive rebound, and then he went up and down and gets whistled for a traveling violation.
It's a great drive and finder. It's wide open. You won't get an more open look than that. He steps up and knocks it down.
His only bucket in the first half came with 13:49 to go. So he went about 15 minutes of game action between buckets. Carr pops out. Can't hit. Rebound Smith.
Wake's got to get back and match up here. Still not matched up. You can see it coming. They got to wait with one.
Kelly had a good look. Franklin, another rebound. He's got 11 of them already, and then Smith got bumped. And Tyree Appleby gets tagged with a foul that these fans disagree with.
Wake defensively just never got matched up. Didn't communicate, didn't find it. That's what I'm sure they're talking about right now in that huddle. Like, hey, get back and communicate on your matchups.
Again, this is a Georgia Tech team, 2-12 in league action. Wake Forest 8-6, back-to-back wins. The huge showing against North Carolina Tuesday. But still on the outside looking in, at least according to Joe Lunardi at the start of the day. And this is a quad 4 game that Wake does not want to lose. Moore goes spinning, gets bumped, and he will go to the line. Gets fouled by Damari Monsanto.
Yeah. Throw the records out of the window here. I mean, this team is playing hard. They're confident. And they have their complete roster. It's something they hadn't had all year. And it's just a confident group right now. They're playing well.
Josh Pastner has been rolling with the same group of guys when he gets into tight games recently. And so he's got more out there. We said Maxwell starting this half as well. Tonight, 9 Eastern, after our doubleheader that wraps up in Coral Gables, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day in the ACC with highlights and analysis and a look ahead to next week as well, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Duke and Virginia have been locked in a tight one.
They have.
Appleby tried to jam it, regurgitated by the rim. Moore has one pop out himself.
Got the rim playing defense on both teams here.
And now Hildreth misses. This is a track meet. Smith pulls up. Can't hit. Battle on the boards. Last touch by Franklin. Can you still dunk?
I couldn't dunk 25 years ago. I can't dunk. I know I can't dunk now. You got to ask Corey one day when you're working with Corey about my dunking. He'll tell you about that. It's one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever had on a basketball court.
That's coming late night with Corey Alexander. Damari Monsanto off a nice feed.
Great play out of execution there. Backdoor screen. No, eliminated the weak side help. Got an easy basket. Won't get one more easy than that.
So it's a 1-point game. Georgia Tech's last bucket came with 57 seconds to go in the first half. So about a 5-minute drought. Kelly turned the corner. Tough shot over Carr. And Javon Franklin soars to follow.
It's the play that they're running there. They're doing a dribble handoff, and when you're playing in that drop coverage, the guards are getting caught trailing behind. That's a defensive mistake because in walkthrough today, we heard the coaching staff say go under the dribble handoff. They want to avoid that. That's something I'm sure they're going to talk about in this timeout.
Javon Franklin has had some follows.
Just getting in the paint. Nobody boxing him out and putting it on Carr's head. Great game here in Winston.
You go back the last 3 games coming into tonight for Javon Franklin, the 6th-year senior big man for Georgia Tech. He has done everything for Josh Pastner and the Yellow Jackets.
He does it all. He rebounds. You know, he's creating an assist. He's the key to that, the point forward position in that Princeton offense. His ability to pass and dribble handoff. He's going into double digits. I think the most underrated thing he does is his offensive rebounding and his shot blocking.
He's 5th in the league in blocks per game. And here in this one, he's got 8 points and 13 rebounds already as Cam Hildreth gets fouled. And
Javon Franklin's play is a big reason why Georgia Tech's been able to go to this small ball, right, that's been effective for him the last few weeks.
Well, he's so athletic. I mean, he's a guy that's only probably 6'7" or so, but he plays like he's 6'9", 6'10". He has a quick jump, long arm reach, just really quick for a big. And you know, as you see there, he has 16-9 against Notre Dame, and he's been averaging that for the last 3 games. And I think that's a combination of all the guys, getting everyone back, getting everyone healthy. They're having multiple guys on the floor. It's created this level of competition, and they don't have to rely on certain guys every night. And it's been a different guy, any different combination of guys that they get going, and it's made them effective offensively. They've always been a pretty good defensive team.
Javon Franklin had a huge block on Van Allen Lubin of Notre Dame down the stretch in that 2-point win against the Fighting Irish on Wednesday on the flats. Cam Hildreth makes both. It's a 1-point game, just over 4 minutes into the second half here in Winston-Salem. Georgia Tech, one of its last 8 going back to the end of the first half from the floor.
It's a lot of time going off the clock here. They just want to go right to ball screens.
It went 15 seconds into the shot clock to initiate that with Smith, and now Franklin got bumped. Caught it, tries to score over the top of Marsh, and he does.
He knows he has to attack Marsh with his quickness. He can't back him down, so he's trying to set the ball screen, get the guard to come down and attack, and he's getting lobs, and more importantly, if the guard goes to score, he's getting to the offensive glass.
See the note, he's got his 4th double-double, and then Lance Terry denies the lob to Marsh. Smith, right down the lane.
Coach Forbes can't be happy with that. No one stopped the basketball. First thing you have to do in transition, you run back, you got to identify the ball and stop the ball. And
Deivon Smith's got 11. Speaking of stop the ball, Lance Terry, best perimeter defender according to Josh Pastner. He is hawking Ty Appleby.
Did a really good job there. Stand on his right hand.
Hildreth to and a foul.
Dude just put so much pressure on the rim. He's constantly throwing fouls there. Does a great job. Cuts off the angle there. Going to the line here for an M1.
That's the type of stuff you saw in film, just a pure score.
Well, he did it all over. I mean, he scores it in so many different ways. I think fundamentally, he's a better shooter than he's shown from the three-point line. I mean, he's only a 30% three-point shooter in the year, on the season, and I think he's a little bit better than that. That'll improve. I think he's lost some confidence, even in his free throws. I think he missed some late in one game, and I think he's lost some confidence there. But he just does a really good job putting pressure on teams.
Franklin denied that lob to Marsh. Wake's got numbers. Hildreth did not trigger. Appleby is barking out signals. Shot clock's winding down, and Hildreth left it short. And it's secured by Kelly.
Those are the threes you'd want him to take off the catch of that last one there, and he just waited on the defense to come and end up driving himself into traffic. They're not going to get a better shot in the possession than when he originally caught it. Just step up confidently. You're making shots. You're making plays. Take shots.
Clinton did bite more, pivoting, and the rebound to Monsanto. Hildreth leads all Wake scorers with a dozen. Appleby, too strong. Kelly is left alone and missed it. Smith the rebound, and the reverse wouldn't go. It stays with Georgia Tech.
One of the issues you have in playing against this Georgia Tech team is Javon Franklin puts so athletic. He runs the floor like a guard. And Marsh is struggling, and Wake is changing it. I think they realized that, taking Marsh out of the game. They need to get quicker on their front line, because what he does is he makes the guard have to take him, and your rotation and your defensive matchups get all screwed up, and you end up giving up open threes in transition like you did there.
So it's back to a small lineup for Steve Forbes.
Now you really got to watch out for Franklin's offensive rebounding. And his 15-foot jump shot.
The one you were asking for.
I was asking all first half for him to take that shot, because the game plan is to keep everything in front. They were backing off that. And he's a matchup nightmare. I mean, he really does. Here's another steal. Getting in the passing lane is a big.
Franklin lays it in. And Javon Franklin's doing everything for Georgia Tech on the road.
He's doing what he's done the last 4 games. You don't expect centers to get in the passing lane, coming down and doing a little bit of everything. But Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets here. Just doing it all. Tip dunks, catching oops. Big man is just catching offensive rebounds, putting them on people's head, getting out in the passing lane. You don't expect centers to be doing that. He has completely taken over this game here early in the second half.
You see, he's got 8 of the 12 for Georgia Tech in the 7 minutes since halftime. He's got 14 points total, 13 rebounds, couple of steals. You said he's 6'7". Josh Pastner earlier this season said he's really about 6'5", and he's playing this well. You heard the guys in the studio with Kelsey talking about, all right, well, what's the counter to that for Wake Forest? Why can't they capitalize on him being the tallest player on the floor for Georgia Tech?
One, because he plays with a level of quickness, but what's really happening is the guard, he's setting ball screens with dribble handoffs, and the guards are getting in the paint, forcing the big to come over and rotate, and they just can't box him out. It's no different than what we're seeing with Marsh. Marsh gets the dunks because Appleby gets in the paint like that, and more guys are just putting more pressure on the rim. Georgia Tech just seems to be getting more into the paint, forcing rotation, and there's just nothing they can do to get in front of Javon Franklin. You can't expect the guard to box him out.
Hildreth, meanwhile, has 14, and Franklin and the Jackets lead by 5. Lance Terry.
Wake is just having a difficult time guarding the dribble, dribbler. Whoever's guarding the basketball, putting pressure on the rim, just getting in the paint. They're getting too deep.
Like that from Kelly, but he missed it, and Carr clears it. Appleby. Silky crossover, and he's blocked by Smith. Carr is fouled by Javon Franklin, his second. Boy, Deivon Smith can get up.
He's got that Mike Monaco vertical.
Yes. Spread the gospel.
It's a big-time block there. Just an elite athlete.
Carr for 2, misses the first. ACC Unity Week tips off next Saturday with this men's basketball doubleheader. Pitt, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Louisville, 5 and 7 right here on ACC Network and the app. Deivon Smith told us earlier this year his vertical, 45.5 inches. That's sick.
That's impressive. Really impressive.
Terry runs off a couple of screens. And Terry. He and Franklin can't score, and Wake pushes. Trying to cut this to a one-possession game. Monsanto nearly walked with it.
I thought he did. I thought he got away with one there.
He has been quiet. 2 of 8 shooting from the floor. 1 of 6 from 3. And what is that from Debo Coleman? He comes out and fouls Tyree Appleby, and Josh Pastner says that wasn't the play.
Hey, I bet that
For him, and he's the reason that I'm hanging up in those banners. Obviously, the coaching staff and my teammates, but just what he meant to me off the court and just balancing everything. Just a tremendous man. I know he and his family are dealing with some health issues with his lovely wife, but praying for you, Charlie. You know I love you, and the Childress family is forever grateful and indebted to you for what you did to me.
That's beautiful, man.
Special man.
Yeah.
Special man.
for the career then that you went on to have here, that your son had here.
Yeah.
You got to share those years with him.
It's the best time ever. I get asked that question quite a bit. Someone will say to me, "How was it coaching your son?" It's different. It's an adjustment, but it's absolutely amazing. And my 4 years of being with him far exceed the 4 years that I played in that uniform. It's just an amazing thing to watch and to be able to coach your children and knowing the importance of how playing at your alma mater and with so much history. And that's why this is a special place for me. It's why I'll never leave.
I was like a corner man in a boxing match when you came back up at halftime, dabbing you off with sweat because you're too busy kissing babies, as you should.
Hey, I'm home. I'm home with my family, baby.
Tyree Appleby made both. Bonus already, 11 minutes to go. We heard that on Tuesday. Deivon Coleman knocks down a three.
It's a great job of executing their offense there. Miscommunication on the backdoor cut, didn't talk. Both guys went with the cutter and left Deivon Coleman open for a wide open three. This team's confident now. They're making shots.
Coleman's first points. It's Georgia Tech by 5. If you're just joining us, maybe you watched that great finish in Charlottesville. It's been a good one. And strap in. Bobby Clippman steps out. He's got 8 off the bench, and it's a 2-point game.
Just going to say, someone else besides Cam Hildreth have to step up for Wake Forest offensively. And big freshman, great way to step up and knock down a shot there.
Kyle Sturdivant had 2 fouls in the first half. He's been quiet. Franklin caught the lob and then missed it too strong. Sturdivant had it altered by Hildreth. And this place is vocal. This building was supercharged on Tuesday for the Wake win over Carolina. A game Wake led by as many as 26. Appleby took the ball. Carr tries to follow, but he lost it to Franklin. Deivon Smith pushes off the bounce. He lost the handle. Hildreth is bumped by Coleman, and Cam Hildreth will shoot free throws with the foul coming on the floor. And the 1-and-1 on the way.
I think you're starting to see a little bit of fatigue as well. Neither team is really going deep into their bench. Probably on a 6-man rotation right about now. And free throws will play a big part here going down the stretch of this game.
Remember, for Wake Forest, Tuesday in that game against Carolina, they went 33 for 42 from the line. Now, of course, a lot of that, 28 of the attempts, 23 of the makes, came from Ty Appleby. But much like this second half is shaping up to be, they got into the bonus very early. Hey, our women's basketball triple header for you tomorrow on ACC Network and the ESPN app. First, it's BC and number 14, Carolina at noon. Then a top 20 showdown at 2 with Florida State and Virginia Tech. Capped off at 4 o'clock with Notre Dame against Syracuse. Hildreth makes both.
Javon Franklin's out right now for Georgia Tech.
Foul away from the ball goes on Davian Williamson.
They're really small right now. You look at the lineup out there for Georgia Tech. I think they're just trying to buy time. Howard's been nursing some nagging injuries and played a few minutes early. But right now, the team is playing with Jalen Morris, starting big.
Sturdivant, always good in the mid-range. Clippman the rebound. And Wake wants to take the lead. Appleby dumps it off. And Clippman will go to the line with a chance to give Wake Forest just that.
Great things happen for Wake. Whenever one of their guards get deep, penetration, force rotation, they're drawing a lot of fouls. And when they're not, they kick out their best. I think the best three-point shots that they've had tonight has come from the penetration of their guards, either passing it to one another or
Bobby Clement coming in, and he's been giving his team a boost since he's been in the second half.
Just like he's done the last 3 games. Big minutes for the freshman from Sweden. Those last 3 averaging 26 minutes a game. And Steve Forbes has said that he has learned how to play off of 2 feet. He has slowed down. It's under control.
Yeah.
And the freshman has given Wake a lead on a 12-3 run.
You expect to see that with your freshman. When you get to February, you often tell them you're no longer a freshman. You've been through enough battles there where things should slow down.
Moore's only made 3 threes all season. And Josh Pastner's not going to wait around.
No.
Here comes Javon Franklin getting ready to come back into this game after they tried to steal him a breather on the sideline.
Yeah, you got him as much time as you can get him.
Appleby. Tough shot.
Yeah, difficult shot there. He wasn't balanced.
Kelly Hunting got it from Sturdivant.
This is where the Princeton offense gives them issues because they're not opening up the paint, but coach calls timeout there. He's going to get Franklin in the game.
His stud is coming back. Georgia Tech is locked in a good one with Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. Where it feels like NIL was meant for this guy and for this partnership. Tyree Appleby with Appleby in a deal that got announced this week after, oh so conveniently, Tyree went for 35 and 11 and set an ACC record for 3 throws against Carolina on Tuesday, and now he's got this deal.
It's perfect. How fitting. I'm wondering what took him so long. I teased him earlier today. I told him I wanted some lemon pepper wings. Told me it's no problem. Just let him know.
Well, what took so long? I mean, they reached out to him. He told us earlier today in November. 2.5 hours of filming for the commercial. He told us, I'm an actor now. Cal Sturdivant had to hang in the air against Hildreth. And Wake clears it, leading by 2, inside of 8 to go with the ball in the hands of their star, Tyree Appleby. Off the bounce. Tried to coax some contact from Sturdivant and now backs it out to Hildreth, who's the leading scorer for the Deacs today with 16. And then Bobby Klintman follows with 10. Driving again, Terry the rebound.
This is where Bobby got to learn, too. You reach for the ball, you got to get back.
Terry attacks, and he's got a chance at a 3-point play.
That one's on the freshman. Shot goes up, you got to get back. He stays behind. He's trying to gamble for the ball. Doesn't get back. He doesn't stop the basketball. They run right down the lane, and his teammate gets the foul and and one for it. So something they'll correct with the film room on the young fellow.
And Lance Terry, with his first points of this game, averages 9 per. Gardner-Webb transfer in his 3rd game back after missing 4 with the hamstring, like you mentioned. A guy who's been as key as anyone the last week.
I think he and Javon Franklin have been the reason this team is playing as good a basketball as they're playing right now. And again, now he's on the floor. He's probably their best 3-point shooter. And you got to watch him with all the cutting and movement that are going on.
He's their best perimeter defender as well. And what is it? Block or charge on Cam Hildreth with Terry defending. The anticipation builds with Jamie Luckey and A.J. Desai. And it's a block.
That's the longest call.
Holy cow.
That's the longest call ever. I thought we had an NFL huddle right here. Does a great job of holding his ground, and they could have called that either way. I mean, you're entitled to your space. And I thought if he'd kind of failed the first time, they may have given it to him, but by the second time, I think he was already in the no-charge area, and it's an automatic block if you're not elevated.
Boy, Terry was just banging in so many of those battles in the game against Notre Dame earlier this week, and some of them went both ways. Charge, block. We had flops involved in that game as well, in a game that got pretty testy.
This type of year, you're going to get that. I mean, everybody's playing for so much at stake. The toughness got to come out, and you got to show. You don't need to have your best stuff, but you need to have your best effort.
Wake by 1, 7 to go. Sturdivant, probing. Terry cutting and finishing.
What a game. Just back and forth. Wake's got to get one of their big guys, got to get big guns, got to get going here right now. Appleby's struggling from the floor. Clintman and Hildreth have been the guys.
And Clintman gets fouled by Deivon Coleman. That's 4 on Deivon Coleman.
Coleman's critical because he gives them the versatility to defend the 4 spot. Don't need him picking up his 5th.
Hey, we've seen some amazing fans from across the ACC, and now we need your help throughout this winter. ACCN wants to experience each sport from your perspective, so snap a pic or take a video, tag it, use the hashtag AllTheDevotion, and you might see it here on ACCN.
Back in his pinch post action here.
Sturdivant driving on Appleby. Sturdivant knocks it down.
Just got to guard the ball. There's too much size there to get too deep. Both teams get great shots when their guards get in the paint, when the ball touches the paint.
Appleby around the corner on Coleman.
Great job getting in the paint again. And he's so quick. And he's so dangerous, especially when he gets to that right hand. He's a dominant right-hand player, and that's why he's leading the ACC in scoring.
You said the stars have to be stars for Wake. Tied at 60. Sturdivant shook Hildreth, and it rolls off. Crucial game for Wake Forest. Quad 4 game against these Jackets. Hildreth back out for Davian Williamson. Shot clock below 10. Hildreth finds a cutting Carr at the rim.
Great move by Carr. Great cutting away from the basketball. Everyone standing around watching the ball, thinking that Hildreth's going to attack the switch. Great cut, great find, great finish.
Steve Forbes took the timeout after these buckets.
Appleby just getting down in the middle of the lane, scooping it at the rim, and just a great cut here and great find. Put the Deeks up too. What a game. What a game.
If you haven't been with us throughout, Wake Forest built an 11-point lead the first 7 minutes of this game, but then Georgia Tech stormed back and actually led by 4 at halftime on the road after Georgia Tech on Wednesday snapped a 9-game losing streak here in the ACC that Josh Pastner told us earlier today he had never experienced before in his time as a head coach, and you could tell it wore on him and his team, but they talked about the confidence that they had coming out of that win, and quite frankly, how they've played the last few weeks, and they have been in a battle with Wake all night.
Well, losing beats you up mentally. It just does it for yourself, your coaching staff, and your players. And this team, we had them a couple of weeks ago at NC State, and that game went down to the wire. They just didn't score the last 2 minutes of the game, and they were playing better then, and their strong play have just continued.
Deivon Smith had a big first half for Georgia Tech. So did Miles Kelly. They've both been quiet in the second half, and Kelly misfires. So many tight games this season for Wake Forest. Appleby stopped on a dime. Holds his pivot foot. Nearly turned it over. Carr bails him out. And now Cam Hildreth with the shot clock at 7. Hildreth. Carr rolled on.
Wow.
Deivon Smith with the contest. That was gorgeous.
Deivon Smith needed all 45 inches.
He kicks out for Terry. Knocks it down.
Wow, great play, great find, great pass. Wow.
Josh Pastner is literally jumping for joy on the sidelines.
And he should be. His guys are competing hard and they're fighting.
Hildreth on the baseline. And he gets fouled by Miles Kelly. So free throws coming when we come back after a massive three. And Josh Pastner is feeling it.
Show him how to do it, Coach.
All righty.
ACC Network Basketball is presented by Subway. Subway's upping their game with the All-Star Subway Series menu. Just order by name or number. Ah, yes, the power of the face shields. And what a run it was for Josh Pastner and the Yellow Jackets a couple of years ago. We're getting close to the ACC tournament, about, 20 minutes from here in Greensboro this year. And this, today, has the feel of a postseason game with the energy throughout this building all night.
Both teams going back and forth here and just matching plays and getting stops. When each time one person do one, they come right back and double up on them. So it's just been a back and forth game all night and all afternoon. And let's just see who closes out. Who steps up here? Tie game, 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Who wants it?
63 all. Cam Hildreth's got 19. He's drawn 10 fouls. He's 9 of 12 at the line. Meanwhile, at this end, this guy, Lance Terry, has 8 of the last 10 for the Jackets. Deivon Smith initiates with Hildreth on him. Shot clock winding down. Devo Coleman. Yes!
Just not expecting Devo Coleman to make that shot if you're the Deeks. Shooting 31% from three and needing to tag on that roll because they're so concerned with Javon Franklin catching lobs, and they tagged and just couldn't get out to the shooter.
Monsanto cannot answer, and Georgia Tech's got it. 2.5 to go, up by 3, and Wake Forest needs to stop.
Plenty of time left. No need for the Deeks to panic. Just need to settle down here and get it stopped.
Josh Pastner has been coaching right out of his suit here in these last few minutes.
Yeah, anything with Javon Franklin here with a dribble handoff, allowing him to either in the ball screen or roll. The question is, what do they do now after he turns the corner because he's there for the lob?
Smith threw it up there and got the shot to go.
Expect the Deeks to make a switch possible. They're going to do something different. Got to keep these guards out of the paint.
Deivon Smith's got 13, 5, and 5, and some good defense. He's on Appleby, who gets 2.
Very strong move there. They finished by Appleby again. He asked for it. Stars need to step up and bring your team home, and Appleby's doing his part right now.
This place comes to life in Winston-Salem. Inside of 90 seconds to go in the second half.
Going to simplify it. It's going to go right into a 1-5 ball screen right here with Franklin.
Smith circling, probing, kicking. Coleman can't knock it down. Battle on the boards and an offensive rebound. Kelly.
Plenty of time here. This is a must stop. We got to get a stop here with the fresh shot clock here.
And Damari Monsanto was on Coleman, so Josh Pastner takes a timeout with a minute to go.
Josh Pastner trying to decide where the basketball is so he can draw up a play, whether it's sideline or baseline. He finds out it's a sideline, out of bounds play.
It's a big stop here for the Deeks. Down 3. You don't want to go to a 2-possession game here under a minute. You need to get a stop. You don't need a 3. There's plenty of time. If you get a stop to come down, run your offense and get a 2. But this is a big possession here. I like to say this is where we're in the guts of the game. This is a big moment of the game right here.
After this one from Georgia Tech, 1 timeout left on both sides. It is another 1-possession game for Steve Forbes and Wake Forest. And for Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech, too. They feel like they've been in a lot of these games and that they are better than the record would indicate.
Well, we've talked about that a bunch. I think Wake Forest has been in so many one-position games. They were 4-2 to start. They've been on the back end of a few of those lately. They're 4-5 in that span in these one-possession games, and they're in a dogfight right now. And this one is going to head down on one possession.
Side out of bounds, 10 to shoot. On the shot clock for Georgia Tech. Another ball screen. Smith rejects. Tough ball away. No.
Great stop there by the Deeks. Now you got to get a. Appleby wants to get to that right hand.
Shut off by Smith. Now a handoff for Carr. Denial on Hildreth. Tried the back cut on Hildreth. Carr underneath. Off the glass, no, but he's fouled.
It's a late whistle. Jamie Lucky blew that one a little late. I thought it was a foul. I think Jamie's making a call, letting the players decide the game. Had he made it, I don't think he would have called it, but when he missed it, Jamie's been doing it a long time. Jamie Lucky, one of the best in the business.
Third foul on Javon Franklin. So Andrew Carr to the line. He's 1 of 2 there tonight. 75% this season for the junior Delaware transfer. 2-point game. Huge game for Wake Forest. This is quad 4. A team that Joe Lunardi says is next 4 out as of right now. Carr makes both. It's a 1-point game.
Now it's a 1-point game, and you've got a 30-second clock here now, so you can't let them run it down to 1 second. So Wake has fouls to give here. So since 1 second difference, I expect Wake to go all out for steals if they don't start using some of their fouls.
They've got 2 to give. Coleman runs the baseline and start. That's team foul number 5 on Wake Forest. It's the second on Hildreth. You look ahead to the free throws. Georgia Tech has a team, the worst in the ACC from the free throw line at 69%.
Yeah, but Lance Terry and Miles Kelly are the guys shooting mid-80s. So those are the guys, if you got to get to the free throw line, you'll see when it's time to do that. Right now, Sturdivant needs to have the ball in his hands. You need it in your ball handlers' hands right now. Wake's looking to foul.
Terry throws a risky pass into Franklin, who gets fouled. Amari Monsanto was there along the sideline.
Wake fans don't like the call. Yeah, it's a foul. He slapped him on his left arm there. Now you got to get your best free throw shooters in. It's a lot of pressure on this free throw because it's going to be a 1-and-1 when they get to it. And
Georgia Tech in this game, 8 of 8 from the line. Miles Kelly, you mentioned, 88% on free throws this season. Let's see if they can get it to him. 13 in goals.
Lance Terry's taking the ball out, and he's 85%.
And has to burn the final Josh Pastner timeout with 28 seconds left.
Yeah, he's got to get the ball inbound to one of his better free throw shooters there. Wake's going to foul immediately. They're playing the clock as much as they're playing the score right now. There's only 1 second difference before, so you started fouling to get yourself in the bonus.
So Josh Pastner talks things over, up by 1 here in Winston-Salem. And meanwhile, for Wake Forest, they got off to the hot start. 6-2 in the ACC. They led this game by 11 as well in the first half. They dropped 4 straight in the ACC, including 3 straight 2-point losses. Now back-to-back wins, including that Carolina win, and you look at what their resume is. Joe Lunardi, again, says outside looking in, you do not want a quad 4 loss on the resume.
You don't. You don't need a quad 4 loss. And again, if they were to get it, it just puts more pressure on their upcoming games against Miami and Notre Dame. NC State on the road. They've been in a ton of close games, so there's no panic with this group. They've been here. See the effort. The intensity in the defensive end right now. They're playing for steals. They're going to go out to steal here again. They don't. They're going to foul.
Once again, it is Lance Terry to key it in. He's a great free throw shooter. Miles Kelly is their best option on free throws.
Try to throw it long. They'll have someone wide open there.
In the start of it, and he lost it. Carr goes diving for it, and he got a timeout. Wow.
Tough scramble, physical play there. I think Sturtevant was thinking they were going to foul. They didn't foul right away. I think he threw it because he was going to travel. He was off balance. Maybe thinking he got fouled. But he was going to travel and he had to get rid of it. Commit the Carr, get on the floor. Carr comes up with it, calls timeout. Now, if you're Wake Forest, you got to score early. You can't wait, you can't kill the clock to the last 5 seconds to go. So let's see what Coach Forbes and his group draw up here. Like I said, they've been in so many of these games.
They really have, and it's crazy to think of how many they've played in over the course of the season, and they already do have a couple of late winners at the Horns this year. Against Utah Valley, it was Tyree Appleby, a game-winning three at the buzzer in overtime to win that game, and then Andrew Carr against App State in December. He had a game winner that landed number 1 on SportsCenter's top 10 plays. They're down by 1. They've got 23 seconds left. They're out of timeouts.
I expect something quick hitter here with the ball in Appleby's hand. Making a play. They don't need a 3. They're only down 1. Sure, Georgia Tech has a play in mind themselves. I think Wake will get right after it. Need time in case they don't score here.
In the hands of Tyree Appleby, the senior star. Appleby pivoting off the glass and in. With 11.8 remaining, Ty Appleby puts Wake in front.
Just gets the angle. Scoops it up, spins it off just enough to get it in. Puts the Deeks up 1. Now they're going to probably add a few second or 2 back on the game.
I mean, how about Tyree Appleby? You said your stars
have to.
Gotta be stars at this point in the game, and he steps up in the big moment.
He stepped up and made baskets late for the Deeks, but that's what you expect for a guy we're talking about, player of the year caliber. Gets here, plays off 2 feet, doesn't panic, gets the angle. It's a heck of a shot.
Maybe 12.6 or so. Might throw a second, like you said, back on the clock. You see the 14 points for Ty Appleby. 11 of them have come in the second half, and he has put Wake Forest up by 1 in a gotta-have-it game here at home.
Yeah, it's a must-win game for the Deeks. 1 stop away from moving on, and good thing about this review, it gives Pastner enough time to draw up something here. And this is where the Deeks got to get a stop. You got to sit down, you got to guard. They hadn't done a great job tonight of keeping the basketball out of the paint. And question is, who hands does he put into the Smith? Smith played well. He's got 13 points here, and his ability to penetrate and get in the paint. Lance Terry's done a really good job. So there's plenty of options here for Georgia Tech.
Remember, they just won on a buzzer beater on Wednesday on the flats against Notre Dame. 13 seconds left. It's Deivon Smith with a head of steam. Attacking. Smith gets it to go.
No timeout from Georgia Tech.
And did Josh Pastner try to call one without one?
No. They're looking at the clock. Just looking at the clock.
All right. They will go look at the clock after Deivon Smith streaks home through the contact and finish.
It's difficult when you try to put the ball in the fish, make the officials blow the whistle. Didn't blow it, let the players play. It's what you want to see. Let the players decide this game.
I mean, how about Deivon Smith? This guy has been awesome over the last few weeks, and Josh Pastner singled him out after the win Wednesday over Notre Dame. They got Georgia Tech off its schneid and said that his positivity and his energy in the lead up and during that game has been a huge difference maker, and he's done a little bit of everything for the Jackets in this one.
Because he doesn't care about if I start or anything. He didn't start the game, but he finished in this game. He's taking his team home. He's answered Appleby here down the stretch, and now they've got to make a stop on the defensive end if they want to pull up a major upset here.
7 seconds left. Cam Hildreth will put it in for Wake. Down by 1.
Appleby is going to want to get to that right hand.
Here he is. Appleby off the hesitation. In the air. Rolls off with a foul called. With 2.3 left.
Still a lot to play for right now. You still got to see the situation. Yeah, I think he got his hand low before he elevated to shoot. Foul there on watch 4 here. Watch Devon Franklin. The hands low. He missed it from the other angles. Shows you a little better.
And Tyree Appleby to the line. 83% for the season. 2 of 2 tonight. And he's good on the first to tie the game.
Pastner's looking to sub to allow his team to set up their play.
Tyree Appleby just set an ACC record Tuesday for made free throws. He was clutch against Carolina for the lead. Got it!
Someone has to get up to guard the basketball. You can't let him roll it up. Wake's got to match up here.
Debo Coleman will throw it in for Georgia Tech with 2.3 seconds remaining.
It's enough for catching 2 dribbles.
Baseball pass, the length of the floor. Franklin can't handle it, and Wake Forest wins at home.
Great comeback win by the Deeks. The Player of the Year candidate brought him home. Clutch free throws to put him up 1. Great effort by Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets, they continue to play better.
71-70 the final, and wins.